Super Mario might be one of the most famous characters of all time. If you ask anyone on the street, they'll immediately tell you that Super Mario is as iconic as Mickey Mouse and maybe even Woody Woodpecker. He is known across the entire world, with many video games, movies, cartoons, and toys to help you enjoy this creative character even more. However, throughout the years, the details of the origins of Super Mario have been muddied, with facts turning into rumors and sometimes even dangerous lies. But the world deserves to know the truth. They deserve to hear the true story of Super Mario's origins.
Super Mario, The Untold Story.
The year is 1946, and a man named Bob Mario was born in the city of Rome in Italy. Growing up, he didn't have many friends, mostly being accompanied by his twin brother James Luigi throughout his childhood. Mario's mother died in childbirth, and his father was an abusive alcoholic who would throw barrels of beer and whiskey at his two sons when they'd misbehave. Nicknamed Monkey Kong by Mario and his brother, based on his hairy gorilla-like appearance and similarities to the Universal-owned character King Kong. As the Vietnam War rolled around, Mario's father would head off to war, leaving his two sons to take care of themselves in a dangerous new world. After enduring his traumatic childhood, Mario's life finally started turning around when he entered high school. There he would meet who would eventually become his high school sweetheart, Princess Margaret. He would also befriend a man named Carl Toadbird, as well as James Yoshi, who was suffering from a rare skin disease that turned his skin green and inflated his nose, resembling that of a dinosaurus. However, everything changed one day when Carl Toadbird brought a bag of psychedelic mushrooms to school, handing them out to his friends like they were some kind of M&Ms from a candy bag. John Mario would proceed to get heavily addicted by these mushrooms, feeding into his delusions and turning him into a twisted man with twisted evil thoughts. Luigi the brother was devastated to see his once happy and go-lucky brother be reduced to someone who looked to drugs like mushrooms for some sick kind of trip. In July of 1968, Frank Toadbird would be arrested for distributing illegal drugs among minors. In fact, it turned out that Toadbird himself was just a cover for his real identity, Jew Wario, an infamous psychopath and sex criminal who was wanted in all 20 regions of Italy, now finally revealed as the mastermind behind everything. After Jew Wario's arrest and later execution by electric chair, Mario would look to other places for his daily dose of psychedelics, all while him and Princess Margaret were drifting further apart. She loved Mario with all her heart. However, she couldn't help but feel like Mario had become a different person from the man she fell in love with. This era in Mario's history is what many historians refer to as the Dark Age. In November of 1970, Princess Margaret would start a relationship with a new man, known only as Big K at the time, but would later be known as the infamous terrorist dictator Doug Bowser. When Doug Mario caught wind of this development, he realized the error of his ways for the past few years, and he swore off mushrooms for good, starting a movement called Say No to Shrooms in order to spread awareness to the dangers of psychedelic drugs, which helped scientists all over the world understand the science behind shrooms in a way they had never done before. Mario would go on to receive multiple awards throughout the 1970s and even speak at the famous Panda event of 1976. However, Mario's heart was still empty and he craved the love he had felt with Princess Margaret all those years ago. Meanwhile, at Doug Bowser's castle, things had taken a turn for the criminal. Bowser had a heart made of evil, and he had imprisoned Margaret inside of a cage, with her only form of sick entertainment being 7 turtles, who she would nickname the 7 Masters of the Shell. Hearing news of this from his brother Luigi, Hank Mario would devise a plan to break his high school sweetheart out of Bowser's evil grasp. He battled through sewers, stepped on homeless people, and used a flamethrower to torch innocent civilians, all on his quest to get to Bowser's Palm Beach mansion. Mario reached his destination. However, it was already too late. Princess Diana was already dead. In fact, she had been this entire time. Mario was too late. Bowser had won. He laughed his iconic laugh, and Mario became surrounded by military drones that Bowser had legally acquired from China and Israel. However, Mario still had one last trick up his sleeve. He opened up his coat and revealed an arsenal of fire weapons. He then proceeded to shoot Doug Bowser to death. However, the drones gunned Mario down at the exact same second, leaving Mario, Bowser, and Princess Margaret dead on the floor all at the same time, with Mario himself going down in history as one of the bravest men in the history of Italy.